Hey kids, you're listening to a couple of annoyed grunt boys, and this is the 138th Simpsons podcast. That's right, where the podcast explores the animated sitcom The Simpsons from seasons 11 and beyond, and the latest episodes when they're available. Why do we do it like this? Well, an entity known as the Wheel of Random has trapped us and forced us to watch the show in such a manner. Plus, there's plenty of other podcasts out there that explore the quote-unquote golden age of The Simpsons. I say we because I'm one annoyed grunt boy named Steve, and with me, as always, is the other annoyed grunt boy, Craig. Hey, Craig.
I say my name.
All right, fine. Say your name.
Heisenberg. Wait, how's that quote go in? You're damn right. Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I like to knock on doors.
Yeah. Can't believe you forgot I have to say my own name. Okay. Craig!
Yeah, okay. Well, we're getting off on the wrong foot, and, spoiler alert, this episode that we're about to watch is all about Marge's hate letters to the people in town, and I was going to say that I could never write a letter to show my hate for you, but I gotta say, frankly, the way you're starting off, it's kind of pissing me off. I couldn't write a letter, so I used AI, even though I don't like to because AI is bad, but because I don't have a negative thought in my body, a negative bone in my body, I had AI write my thoughts for me to show how much I dislike you. So here it goes. Dear annoyed grunt boy Craig, your entire presence is a masterclass in irritation. Every time you enter a room, it's like the air gets heavier with the weight of your incessant grumbling and passive-aggressive sighs. Your grunt instead of speaking like it's some grand statement, when in reality, it's just obnoxious. Communicating with you feels like trying to decipher a caveman's complaints about modern life. Your inability to express anything without a layer of disdain or exasperation makes even the simplest interactions a test of patience. What's worse is you wear your annoyance like a badge of honor, as if being perpetually displeased makes you superior. It doesn't. It makes you unbearable. Nobody should have to decode your moods or walk on eggshells because you can't manage civility. We're tired, Craig. Tired of the grunts, the groans, the world-weary glares over things as minor as being asked a question. If you dislike everything so much, maybe start with a little self-reflection.
I'm crying on the inside and also the outside.
Yeah.
For AI, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I, too, have a hate letter I wrote for you. It makes me feel better after I wrote it.
Oh, good.
But, of course, I gotta, raise a kid and do stuff. So I also had AI write me a hate letter to you. Dear annoyed gruntboy Steve, you are a symphony of inconveniences conducted by chaos itself. Your most defining trait, your constant grunting. Sounds like a sentient garbage disposal trying to recite Shakespeare. It's as if your vocal cords are being held hostage by a gremlin who only speaks in vowel-less complaints. Your timing is impeccable, though every time someone is mid-thought, mid-sentence, or mid-sanity, there you are, grunting like an off-brand caveman summoned by the gods of discomfort. You enter a room like a Wi-Fi signal drops. Sudden, unwelcome, and always at the worst possible time. Your ability to derail any conversation is practically superhuman. You hijack stories with your unsolicited fun facts, most of which sound like rejected Snapple cap trivia. You interrupt like it's an Olympic sport, and Steve, you are gunning for gold. You chew with your mouth open like you're auditioning for a horror movie, and somehow, even your silences are loud, charged with oppressive aura of someone who might say something dumb at any moment. You are, in short, the living embodiment of a group text that won't stop buzzing at 3 a.m. Congratulations, Steve. You've weaponized your personality.
Wow, that's rough, but I do appreciate that you called me a gremlin.
And I like how I also mentioned you're a caveman, and you mentioned I was a caveman, so there you go.
Wow, that was harsh, but I feel like I'm calmer now, and it's better.
Yeah.
I feel better.
Are you good enough to do the show now?
I think I am. Are you good now?
Yeah, as long as you don't hijack it.
With my fun facts?
Your weaponized personality.
Well, Craig, just keep your grunts to yourself and we'll go. So yeah, let's talk about this episode entitled P.S. I Hate You, in which Marge's nice lady reputation is on the line when an unknown blackmailer threatens to expose the angry woman she is inside. Wow. Alright, let's give it a watch, and we'll be right back.
Stupid Tim Meadows. Why the hell would you lead SNL?
And we're back. Today we're talking about P.S. I Hate You, the 17th episode of the 36th season. It is episode 785 in the show's run. It originally aired on April 13th, 2025. Your nerd code is 36ABF07. It was written by Cesar Mazariegos, directed by Michael Frank Polcino, and your showrunners are Al Jean, Matt Selman, and Cesar Mazariegos.
Mr. Cesar Mazariegos, writer-producer, currently serves as supervising producer and writer for, let me check notes, Simpsons? The previously served as producer, staff writer, story editor, and executive story editor. He's also voiced Baby Grandpa in Season 32's episodes The Last Starfighter, and was the rapper Violencia Gigante in Season 35's episode Clan of the Caveman, which I believe might have been our favorite episode from Season 35.
I think so, yeah.
Cesar has written 7 episodes of The Simpsons, as well as the short When Billy Met Lisa. That's Billie Eilish, not Billie Jean King.
Not Crystal?
Not Joe Armstrong.
Joel?
Boyd.
Corrigan?
Or the Native American who gets killed in the Predator movie. I think his name was Billy, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it's been a minute.
I used to watch that movie all the time as a child. Well, Steve, it is the 7th that we reviewed, so we have a complete set of Caesar cards.
Awesome.
You know, he started with the Season 32, Episode 2, I Columbus. Then he did the series of Flanders Parts 1 and 2 in Season 33. Then a Not It from Season 34, which was the Stephen King's It parody. Then Homer's Crossing from Season 35. That was the first episode of that season. Then Night of the Living Wage from Season 35. All right, and here we are.
I gotta say, I know he's only written 7 episodes, but that's a pretty good batting average, because Series Flanders were great. Not It was a fun parody, and Night of the Living Wage was the Bear spoof. And these are all just really good modern-day episodes, and it's kind of funny because if you go onto the Reddit, they talk about, like, oh, these recent episodes seem good. Anytime you go on there, it's most people saying, like, oh, it's not good anymore, and then a lot of people being, actually, it's been good lately. And I think that Cesar is a big part of that.
I'm just not a fan of going on the Simpsons subreddit. I know we have nothing to do with the show except for review it, but when I see negative comments about it, I'm like, oh, are we doing our job poorly as podcasters because we like some of the stuff?
No, I think we're doing our job just right, and it's the Redditors who are wrong.
That reminds me of the Skinner meme of maybe it's the children that are wrong. That's it.
Except for the Redditors are always wrong, because it's Reddit.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't have a subreddit yet.
I don't think we need that.
Probably not. What we do need to do is begin this episode, and it does begin, as it always does, at discount store The Dollar Troll, which offers milk for 99 cents per gallon and rotten bananas for a mere $1.99. Inside, among the marked down Funzos, Sir Loves-a-Lot, and cases of hose water, Lisa notices that the dollar store isn't what it used to be, and she examines the Hawaiian Punch juice-like drink. Bart stands in front of the shelf offering government Cheez-Its, Circle O cereals, now with some flavor, and Tylenol Lucy's. The surroundings remind Bart of something out of a zombie movie, and Cletus confirms this by popping his head out of the shelf saying, "Brands, brands. No one's ever heard of these brands."
So a couple things about this bit here. Dollar Troll, of course, based off a Dollar Tree, which I believe now is a $1.25 tree.
You are correct, yeah. Not including taxes.
Right. But they also still have like stuff that is less than $1, right? Like you could buy like a candy bar for maybe like 79 cents. I don't know.
I'm sure, yeah. I don't think they like mass everything at $1.25. I just think that they are allowing themselves to go over the price because the economy is bad.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a while, but I feel like rotten bananas for $1.99 is overcharging. Like, go to a grocery store, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I used to work for a national coffee chain with green aprons, and we offered smoothies that have bananas in them, and those were like $5 or whatever. But then we were also selling individual bananas for $1 a piece, and this was like in 2004, which is ridiculous then, and it is now, but it's funny how people just buy them.
I think it's the same thing if you go to like a 7-Eleven on the counter. It's like fruit, like a banana for like like you said, like probably $1.99. Like, who's like, well, got to go to 7-Eleven and get a Slurpee and a pack of cigarettes. Man, I might as well get a banana while I'm here.
I say kill two birds with one stone and get a banana-flavored Slurpee. Throw a cigarette in there. You got your one-stop shopping.
Markdown Funzos, Sir Loves a Lot is great, but I saw news that we're actually getting real Funzos. They're actually making them.
It's true, yeah. I'm kind of curious to see if they're like, how awesome they are.
Now, Steve, you got me the Krusty doll this last Christmas, and I've let my child play with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I'm supposed to allow the Funzo to play with it, because it will like shoot a rocket from the mouth.
That's true, but somebody's birthday is coming up soon, so I just have to wait and find out if there is truly a choking hazard.
Yeah. It's so cool that they're making like actual products from The Simpsons. Like this is like our bit at the end of the show is like if there was an actual product from The Simpsons, and now they are making them. So Funzo's, excited for that. And then Circle O's, which is, of course is a parody of Cheerios. Have you gone down the grocery store cereal aisle lately? Like Cheerios dominates, like in my grocery stores, at least 1/3 of the shelf space, because there's so many different flavors of Cheerios. There's like Cheerios now that are fruit Cheerios, but with added vegetables. So there's like vegetables in the Cheerios now.
Yeah, they like took the Oreo path of too many flavors, but tried to make it like sound healthy, even though it's in no way is.
Like when we were kids, we had two. You know, started off with just the regular and then the honey nut. And then I remember like when apple cinnamon Cheerios came out, it was like a game changer for me.
Yeah, that was like a world of difference. Because they were just like blander Apple Jacks, but still, it was exciting.
Yeah. And now there's whole wheats and mixed berries and frosted and chocolate and cum flavored. Which one are we going at?
The one after chocolate.
I think that was the Cheez-It Cheerios.
Exactly.
Well, that was a fascinating talk, Steve.
Thank you.
Marge explains to the kids that they splurged on food for the evening's party, so she has to save money on utensils, paper plates, and toilet paper. Marge, if you had a bidet, you don't need to worry about the toilet paper.
It's true.
Or the utensils, or paper plates. So she then grabs a pack of Scoff toilet tissue, which features its mascot, a finger poking through a thin sheet of toilet paper, bragging that it is now half ply. As Marge and the kids leave the Dollar Troll, they spot Helen Lovejoy, leaving the snooty smoothie across the street. They try to use their Brainy brand paper towels to disguise their faces, but it's to no use.
Great, it's Helen Lovejoy. Quick, kids, paper towels.
Marge Simpson. I assumed that was you coming out of the shame store, so I rushed right over.
Hi, Helen.
Stocking up on potted meat and broken ramen packets? You know, the church pantry is always open to the underfortunate.
I'm just getting some supplies for my birthday party tonight.
Right, your little backyard soiree. For my birthday, Timothy took me on the Josh Groban Canadian Canal Cruise. But I'm sure your thing will be just as fun.
Oh, boy.
What's her deal?
She bumped into Helen Lovejoy at the shame store and's been growling ever since.
Don't worry.
All right, question. Steve.
Yes.
So she shames Marge of buying broken ramen packets. Does that mean, like, it's already broken?
Yeah, I guess so, but like, who cares?
Yeah, I was just going to say, are you someone who takes those packets of ramen and doesn't break them? Like, when I was a kid, I used to break them all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And boil them. Because it was a lot easier for a little child like myself to eat the noodles.
Yeah, there's like, I would even break them up and like eat them dry as like a little salty snack.
Yeah. I don't break spaghetti, though, because I've watched too many cooking shows and people get really pissed about that. I was like, don't worry. I'll keep it long and just put my Heinz ketchup on the noodles, and there's my spaghetti.
We'll be fine, yeah. Don't forget to cut up some hot dogs in there, too.
And for some fresh cheese, like I use Cheese Whiz from the can.
Of course, yes.
If I give you a plate of spaghetti with warm ketchup, little cocktail weenies, and Cheese Whiz, would you eat this?
I mean, I know it's disgusting, but yeah, probably. Like, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
I'm going to out you on this podcast real quick, Steve, if that's all right with you.
Oh, boy.
You're someone who's fine with ketchup on a hot dog, aren't you?
I don't like ketchup, actually, that much. I don't have any problem with ketchup on a hot dog, like, especially if you're a child. I am a mustard and onion guy.
All right, that's good. It's the same here.
But, like, I don't want to shame anybody for liking ketchup. Like, I'm not like a Chicagoan. I'm going to upset all of our Chicago listeners. Because you guys are jerks.
I'm literally wearing a Chicago Cubs hat and jersey right now as we speak, so you take that back.
I'm sorry.
Which you should have noticed because we're sitting right across from each other.
As we always do, yes.
The jersey and hat and nothing else.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really excited you got these glass tables.
I can see how excited you are.
But yeah, I mean, speaking of Chicago, like, Chicago dog is my favorite hot dog, so sorry, Steve.
No, it's good. I think that they're good. I just think that, if you like ketchup, whatever. It's fine, I guess.
But it's weird because, like, ketchup on a corn dog is perfectly fine.
I feel like hot dogs aren't the food to be snooty about because they're hot dogs. They're the food of the people, so you don't need to be judgy about what people like on them.
All right, one more quick thing about ketchup, and then we'll continue the episode.
All right,
Steve. French fries dipped in ketchup, fine.
Dipped in, yes. Poured over, no.
How about ketchup with your hash browns?
That's fine.
Ketchup with country potatoes?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ketchup with mashed potatoes?
No. I don't know why, but that's disgusting to me. I know it's all the same product, and I know it shouldn't matter, but that's wrong.
I think it's the element of, like, fat. Like, if you usually put a fat in mashed potatoes, like a butter, a cream, a milk.
Mm-hmm. Or milk.
Or you don't do that with a French fry.
That's true.
Poutine is fat on French fry.
Mm-hmm.
What if I gave you a plate of poutine and then poured ketchup all over it?
Ugh. That seems just so wrong. First of all, it's a lot of stuff because you're already dealing with gravy and cheese curds. Like, I don't think you need to add a sugary tomato element to that. But, to each their own, I guess.
To eat their own. I like it. Also in that clip, Marge running home with that drum beat. Is that like a Whiplash parody?
I think it might have been Whiplash or possibly Birdman and the title that goes on from Birdman.
Michael Keaton has been Birdman, he's been Batman, and he's been Mr. Mom Man.
And Vulture.
Vulture Man.
Another Birdman of sorts.
That's true. What other bird-like characters could Michael Keaton play?
Maybe he can restar in Michael Crichton's The Pelican Brief.
I was thinking that he could star in the biopic for Charlie Bird Parker.
Oh, yes. That would be fine.
All right, Steve.
All right.
As much as my fantasy is to see Michael Keaton in blackface, I guess we'll just continue this episode.
Someday. Homer assures the kids that Marge will be fine, saying that whenever she arrives home with murderous rage in her cute little eyes, she spends some time alone upstairs, and then she's as cool as a mule in summer school. Lisa ponders what Marge does to fully de-stress, and then imagines her mother meditating until she's floating in the air, while Bart imagines Marge sitting in the middle of a pentagram, stabbing a voodoo doll of Helen Lovejoy with a knife, and then setting it on fire.
What are you imagining Marge is doing?
Well,
Quilting?
Yes, we'll say that.
So Homer tries to think up an anti-stress process for Marge as well, but a female AI voice informs him that he's reached his imagination limit for the month. And if he wants to keep imagining, he needs to subscribe. As his thought bubble disappears, he tells the kids that he can't imagine what Marge does, but whatever it is, it works.
Proving Homer correct, Marge emerges from the bedroom, happy and calm, excited that her and her lovables are gonna throw her the best birthday ever. In the backyard, the party is underway, and it is a success. Everyone is there, from Julio, Duffman, and Kumiko, to a clearly stoned Sea Captain McAllister and Otto munching on some crab puffs. Even the celebrities of Springfield are there to celebrate Marge, like Rainier Wolfcastle, Arnie Pie, and even freaking Bumblebee Man.
I like Sea Captain and Otto. Definitely stoned, like you said.
Mm-hmm. And I like that they don't talk about it. It's clearly like Otto and him just met up and like got high before the party.
Right. So Lindsay Nagle is happy that one group of people aren't at the party. That's a bunch of snot-nosed children. She asks Marge where she put them all, and we see the kids of the town all stuffed tightly in the living room. And of course, they're being babysat by Shauna Chalmers. Yes, the party is quite the success, with everyone sharing their love for Marge, and in the morning, she gets to party some more.
I never imagined that everyone in town would show up for my birthday.
Of course we did, Marge. Springfield adores you.
You're a big legend.
You always have spare underwear for my Millhouse's uh-ohs.
Plus, you're always nice to everybody, even the town jerks like me and, no offense, Homer. Oh.
By the pinos ingested in me, I hereby decree Marge Simpson the nicest lady in Springfield.
Last night was like something out of a dream.
Yeah. Can you believe I went to work naked and my teeth all fell out?
Oh, I've enjoyed my share of balls before, but I was never the belle of one. And just when I thought it couldn't get any better, now I get to clean again. Old sneakers, coveralls, industrial-grade kerchief.
Now there's a line in there I want to talk about.
Is it Millhouse's underwear?
I mean, that is something special.
Well, I was just wondering, is she just giving Millhouse Bart's underwear?
I was wondering that myself. I think it's very nice of her, but I doubt that she's buying like an extra set of underpants just for Millhouse. So yeah, it's probably Bart's.
Maybe it's actually Lisa's underwear, and she tells Millhouse, like, this is Lisa's underwear, and he's a lot happier because of it.
And then they get dirty in a different way.
Jesus. Let me think, what other lines would it be? Is it when Marge says, it was like a dream, and Homer's like, yeah, my teeth were falling out, and I was showed up naked at work.
I mean, that is a great line and very funny, because Homer thought of it as a literal dream. But no, that's not the line either.
I've enjoyed my share of balls.
There it is.
Wait, where's what?
That's the line that I was thinking of.
Oh, I'm just telling you something about my life. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Confused.
Well, much like yourself, Marge has enjoyed her share of balls, but never been the belle of them.
I think this goes down as like one of those fun sexual innuendo jokes that we've talked about, like growing up we didn't catch. This one is great because it's kind of in that same vein.
Veins, balls, what are we talking about? Jeez. So as Marge is getting her outfit together for cleaning, she is shocked to find something missing from her closet. Homer asks what she's looking for, and as she explains it, she's searching for her box, her secret box. Homer is concerned that it's the sex box, but Marge tells him that it's actually her secret box of hate letters.
So once Homer is assured that the sex box is all right, Marge tells her family about the letters. I'm just going to have to say, Steve, isn't the sex box what Homer calls Marge's vagina?
Yes, that's exactly right.
I just had to say it. All right. So she shamefully admits that as a teenager, she would, upon occasion, get angry. So we flash back to a teenage Marge storming into her 90s era bedroom, slamming the door, shouting, "Stupid Tim Meadows." She yells at a poster of Tim Meadows asking the star of the Ladies' Man why he would leave SNL, especially since he was such a linchpin. And does he also say that he's hot?
I think so, yeah. And he was.
Yeah.
Especially in those later seasons when he had the dreads. He's looking good.
I just love the idea of Marge just in love with Tim Meadows. It's just very funny to me.
It is. And, her being upset that he left the show. Yeah, this is really funny.
He was probably on for, at the time before Keenan, wasn't he, the longest reigning cast member?
Yeah, definitely. He had been on there for a long time, and I feel I feel bad for him because he is a comedic genius, and he never did really get his time to really shine.
I mean, he's been on so many things as probably fourth on the call sheet, but never first.
Yeah. He was on for 10 seasons, which at the time was the longest running cast member, which, yeah, I mean, obviously Keenan is far beyond that now, but at the time, yeah, it's something big. And also, I don't remember what season it is, but he is in one of my favorite SNL sketches ever. It's Molly Shannon and Will Ferrell with Dr. Spaceman.
Chris Parnell,
thank you. And Parnell and Molly Shannon are a couple, and they're trying to have a baby. And Tim Meadows plays a character named Dr. Stephen Poop, and it never ceases to make me laugh.
I don't think I've seen it. I'll have to check it out on peacock.com. That's right. We support the cock of P.
Yum yum. So Marge angrily rips the poster off of her door, knocking over a teen magazine which opens to an article called Letter Rip, How Your Pen Can Make You Zen. Seeing this changed Marge forever. So as she reads in Teen Lady's Home Journal, which features Catholic Trump fan Gwen Stefani on the cover, whenever someone makes you mad, simply write them a fiery letter saying all the things you wish you could say to their face. The letter may never get sent, but the bad feelings are gone forever.
Since then, Marge wrote countless letters, resulting in her being a much nicer person. As she finishes one such letter saying, "Go jump in a wood chipper," she explains that every letter she wrote made her feel better, with her bad feelings tucked away and therefore gone. So she always wanted that correspondence to be private, just for her, but now they are gone.
Homer assures her that they must be somewhere around the house and that she should ask the cleaning lady. So after Marge says that she is in fact the cleaning lady, Homer threatens to fire Marge unless she tells her where Marge's letters are. Just said, Marge's phone chimes with a message from an unknown raccoon memoji.
Mom, you got a new message from an unknown number.
Dear Marge, we have your letters. If you want to see them again, pay us $5,000. If not, we will show the world what a mean bitch Marge Simpson really is.
Can we say that now?
We've got to find that letter thief.
Okay, we've got photos of everyone who was at the party last night. All our dearest friends and loved ones.
One of these scumbags is holding your mom's letters hostage. But who?
My money's on Jasper. He's ugly, and ugly people are prone to crime.
I've always hated ugly people, and now I know why.
Craig, do you hate ugly people?
I mean, I hate myself, so yes.
Me too. I mean, I hate myself as well, as an ugly person.
There's something funny about a transition from this clip into the rest of the episode. When when the raccoon calls Marge a bitch, I like how Homer says we can say that now.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, we get a slew of curse words in this episode.
It's a little weird to hear the Simpsons swear so much. I know they let an ass or a damn out, but it's not often you hear the word bitch, especially in today's modern television. I think that probably even more prevalent in the 90s being in Melrose Place or something, but not in a sitcom.
Yeah, because right before that, Marge doesn't swear. She says darn it or something like that in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, after the Homer points out we can say this now. It's funny, this episode that becomes very rated TVMA.
Ooh, yes. Dangerous.
Very dangerous, Steve. Lisa pleads for some calm, saying that their friends and neighbors came to show Marge love, and they shouldn't start accusing people willy-nilly. This, of course, prompts Bart and Homer to accuse groundskeeper Willie, as he was clearly the ugliest guy at the party. Bart wants to burn down the Scotsman shack, but as Lisa points out, it couldn't have been Willie, since he can't read.
Poor literate Willie. So Marge doesn't have a lot of hope in finding the culprit, since everyone believes her to be the nicest woman in town. It's like when Ellen started her talk show. And if Marge's letters get out to the public, everyone will hate her, like when Ellen ended her talk show. While Marge may be worried, Homer thinks that he may know someone who could help. Springfield's finest.
Sorry, can't help you.
What? Can't you trace the call or descramble the voice or something?
I wish, but the wusses down at the State House defunded us. I'm sorry, Marge, but you're on your own.
We weren't defunded, Chief. Our budget was increased by 33%.
Yeah, but it's a great excuse for when you want to have a lazy Saturday.
Help! I woke up in the bathtub with no kidneys.
Defunded.
Oh, those letters can't get out. We're just gonna have to pay the ransom.
But it's $5,000. Do you know how many kidneys you'd have to steal to get that?
It's some good commentary on the police, for one, for being ineffective, but also claiming to be defunded when they've actually increased in their money. But also from a writerly standpoint, the mention of kidneys being stolen and then Homer mentioning how many you can get with $5,000. That is a nice little wraparound.
Yeah, I've sold 2 of my kidneys, so I'm keeping the other 4. So hopefully, if I need money in the future.
That's good. It's good to have some in the bank. The body bank.
Marge has an idea on how to get the ransom money, even though Homer may not like it. So, in the booth of Luigi's, Marge tells the person, or persons on the other side, that she's aware that there's always a catch to make a deal with them, but she has nowhere else to turn, especially since Fat Tony is out of town. So it's Patty and Selma who laugh hysterically at the idea of lending Marge the cash. They feel that Marge's predicament is what she deserves for repressing her emotions. So like in that scene, it feels like she's going to talk to Fat Tony, but she doesn't. Well done. Because you're feeling that, and then you're thinking like last week's episode, like, wait a minute, Homer already dealt with Fat Tony.
Yeah, it's like, this is a fast turnaround for Fat Tony, because usually it's a couple years apart, and I do like, you're in Luigi's, you only see one side, and you kind of hear the mandolin playing in the background, and you're like, okay, we're doing a Godfather thing. But nope. So Patty explains further, stating that a woman's feelings are a lot like her boobs. They're always locked away in public, but you gotta flop them out every now and then, lest you go bananas. And with a loud plop and a sigh of relief, Patty takes off her bra, letting those milk cans go free. Milk cans?
Milk cans. For those who didn't watch the episode, you don't actually see her boobs. She just takes her bra off, with the shirt on. So
yeah.
Sorry, perverts.
No glass that they were put upon.
Well, back at home, Marge is getting more and more worried. The deadline is nearly there, and they don't have the money. She's not sure what her next course of action is. And suddenly, the phone rings. But Homer knows just what to do.
Honey, wait. I've seen every movie about angry middle-aged men refusing to negotiate with kidnappers. I know how to talk to these people.
Time's up, Marge.
This is Mr. Marge, dirtbutt, and you just signed your own death warrant, because I'm a retired CIA ninja who just unretired to chimp-chomp your face!
Hey, you listen here.
No, you listen, butt dirt! We want those letters on our doorstep by noon, 100 hours tomorrow, or I'm gonna be on you like a Hawaiian shirt on a fat guy! Aloha means hello, and you're dead. Fixed it!
Oh, I was taken by Homer's performance, Steve.
Yeah, nobody could top that.
John Wick? I don't know.
Yeah, but no, it's really good. I like Homer being the badass CIA ninja that he is. I also like him ending it with, fixed it! Well, at the First Church of Springfield, where all are welcome, though some restrictions apply, Homer confidently tells Marge that he put the fear of God in the letter napper, much like Father Snooze, aka Reverend Lovejoy, attempts to do every week. Marge is hopeful that Homer fixed everything, and that they can all move on with their lives.
Marge's relief is short-lived as Reverend Lovejoy delays his service so his wife may speak, despite his wishes otherwise. Helen takes to the dais to say that the previous evening, a vile, horrible letter was left at the Lovejoy's doorstep and tore her world asunder.
So Helen reads the letter, which begins with "Dear" in quotes, and goes on to say, "Helen, in case you weren't aware, you are a bitch." Hearing this, the congregation gasps, and Gertie passes out in front of her organ, much like she did after playing all 17 minutes and 3 seconds of In the Garden of Eden. Helen continues to read as the author of the letter calls her a snobby little gossip who derives vampiric pleasure in the misfortune and minor foibles of others.
Hearing this, Lisa whispers to Marge, complimenting her on her writing skills. Which did Lisa compliment Homer's writing skills for the Flanders of Simpsons?
She did, yeah, like... That's why she's such a good writer. She has 2 parents who are really good at writing.
Yeah. So Marge shushes Lisa, and Helen reads on, and the letter asks her to keep her surgically upturned nose out of one's business, adding that Josh Groban would hate her guts. The letter ends by telling Helen to go jump in a wood chipper. Mrs. Lovejoy then informs the churchgoers that the name of the person who signed the letter is... Oh, it's actually been cut out.
Oh, damn. Well, Helen is sure she knows who wrote the scandalous letter, saying that the culprit is someone who has fooled Springfield for years, with her supposed sweet, gentle nature. The Reverend's wife then points her finger at none other than Agnes Skinner. Lamb of God Skinner claims that she would never write such vile things, opting instead to say them directly to Helen's discount Botox face.
Is this new canon that Helen's got a lot of plastic surgery done?
I think that's interesting. Yeah, they never really mentioned it before, but like they do talk a lot about her nose. And, even though they don't really age, she is getting up there in age. So she would probably get a nose job and then like try and pass it off as just, nothing.
She's got her nose jobs and Timothy's got his train jobs.
That's right.
So Helen urges Timothy to defend her honor, and Agnes pushes Seymour to do the same. They are both reluctant to spar with one another, but that doesn't stop Nelson from yelling, "Wuss fight!" The people in the pews chant, "Fight, fight, fight!" And the two meek men slap each other weakly. Also, Nelson, I think, the flanchees of Inner Simpson said car fight. So is this the new Nelson? Like every episode's going to have him yelling something fight?
This is becoming like a spiritual sequel to the flanchees of Inner Sheeran. Like, you're right. I didn't notice it before, but yeah, totally.
I also like the two like subservient men on the show, Reverend Lovejoy and Seymour trying to fight. It's very funny.
It is very funny, and like the wussy fight slappy thing, it's always like a laugh to me.
Yeah.
So once again, Marge receives a call from the mysterious distorted voice. So Marge steps outside of the church just as the person on the other line points out just how much damage Marge's letters can cause. So the caller threatens Marge, saying that she has exactly 60 minutes until all the letters are released, saying if not, her life will turn into an abominable hellscape of torment and woe.
Homer checks in on Marge, worried that she is missing the wuss fight. Though the intention of the caller may have been to intimidate Marge, she lets out a sly smile, telling Homer that she knows the identity of the kidnapper.
So we cut back to 742 Evergreen Terrace, where in front of the stumbling drunk Barney Gumble, large words appear that say, "The party, 8:42 p.m., what Marge saw," which I think is a really fun visual. Marge is pulling out the extra crab puffs, and then she goes to the living room to thank Shauna for babysitting. After apologizing for admitting the fact that there were an extra 53 kids to look after, Marge asks Shauna how it's going.
All right, Steve, can you name all 53 kids?
Alrighty, we got Bart. We got Lisa. We got Maggie.
That's good enough. You got 3.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Shauna tells her that it's an abominable hellscape of torment and woe. After Marge shows confusion, Shauna adds that she's been reading a goth romance novel with a language that has been stuck in her brain. And after holding up her copy of the Banshee of the bassist, see, Banshee of Air Sheeran, Steve, Shauna reaches for one of the crab puffs.
Marge stops her, asking her that she enjoy some of the food left in the kids' area. Shauna responds that Milhouse sucked all the pigs out of the blankets, and Martin ate all the corn off the dogs. Plenty of ketchup all around. Marge tells her babysitter that it's not as bad as she thinks, and goes to offer her delicious crab puffs to the adults, like the stoned Captain McAllister and Otto. We then jump ahead to 9:06 p.m. and see what Marge didn't, Shauna calling her boyfriend Jimbo Jones.
Every time she hires me to babysit, she treats me like I freaking work for her. She acts like all I do around here is watch TV and try on her clothes.
That is what you do.
Yikes. How does she pull this off without looking like a skank?
The pearls class the whole thing up.
Everyone thinks she's such a saint. Meanwhile, she's starving the one babysitter that's watching like every kid in town.
Where are those kids anyway?
Up your butt. I don't know. Holy crab.
Oh, man. This angry MILF hates everyone in town.
I thought this box was going to be full of, like, pot or grandma ashes. But this is even better.
I bet Mrs. Bart's mom would pay anything to keep people from reading these letters. Even $5,000.
With that kind of money, we could start over. Live a whole new life.
We've talked about it before, but like the beginning of the year, Pamela Hayden, who voiced Milhouse, left the show, but she also voices Jimbo Jones. So, Pamela, when are you leaving? Come on.
Well, Craig, I'll have you know that she's gone. And that is Mo Collins from TV's Mad TV, taking over as Jimbo Jones, and frankly, a flawless performance that I wouldn't even notice had I not already known.
Can we talk about the greatness of Mo Collins? When I saw that she was taking over the role, I'm like, I know that name, or do I know that name? And I do, because she is, I guess what you call a working class actor.
Mm-hmm.
She's been in so many things. that I've seen that I just don't even realize her that I'm like going through her IMDb, like, oh yeah, she was in that. Oh, she's in that. Let's start with her very first credited role, Steve. Jingle All the Way. She was Mother on Phone.
Ah, yes. Who could forget? And then she was in an episode of The Gina Davis Show as the unforgettable Tammy.
I'll remember her actually in Arrested Development. She was in 5 episodes. She was Starla. She was the spokesmodel that Job hired.
Oh, yeah.
She had a role on The 40-Year-Old Virgin as Gina.
I always remember her from Parks and Rec as Joan Calamente, who I think Tom Haverford dated for a minute and just kind of showed up and was like drunk often and just a lot of fun.
Just a fun performance, fun character of Joan. Guess she was on the Fear the Walking Dead TV series. So let's see, she's doing like a serious role probably. I didn't really watch that show. Hey, she was in one episode of The New Night Court, and her name was also Starla, just like in Arrested Development. That must have been a callback reference, maybe.
An homage, yes, I think so.
I would hope that the writers of The New Night Court have seen Arrested Development.
I'm sure they have.
Well, Arrested Development was funny, Steve.
Oh, ooh, it's a sick burn to the fine folks at Night Court.
I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. All right, I'll cut it out. Wait, that's Full House.
Did you do that?
Hey. Just trying to give catchphrases. But we see Shauna's wall. We got a poster of a female drummer, Steve. That doesn't look like Meg White at all. Meg White doesn't have pink hair.
Not that one, in the corner.
I thought that was Baby.
Nobody puts Baby in the corner. No, but you can't see her full face, but there's an image of Meg White, which is a reference to when Bart became a drummer. But also more predominant is a picture of the band The Snuffs, led by depressive racist Quillaby, who is obviously a parody of Morrissey, who led the Smiths, which from the episode from like season 30, which we reviewed not too long ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
Also, it's fun that Jimbo called Marge a MILF.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree if that's what he believes.
Yeah, I mean, and I like that he appreciates how the pearls on Marge's neck really class up her outfit. Like, I think that's a nice thing for Jimbo to notice.
It's okay. I'm gonna go back to the party real quick. Mm-hmm. So Shauna, she's not in because Super Nintendo Chalmers is at the party, right? But because she's babysitting, or is she just, did she go with her dad? But she had to like watch the kids.
I took it to be that she is hired as the babysitter.
Okay, because it's weird because like we still don't know like her age, and because Otto's at the party, and hasn't like Otto like hung out with Shauna?
Yeah, but that could just be like a creepy thing, like weed dealers do or something.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think Shauna gets her drugs from Otto. Otto is the guy that hangs out with high school kids.
Mm-hmm. And sea captains.
And 10-year-old boys sometimes.
Yeah, why not?
So Shauna imagines a new, better life with Jimbo, ripping through the ocean on their boat and making out. Riding horses through a beautiful meadow, making out. And it's funny, too, because then they pan out to see the horses that they're riding on are also kissing. She even thinks to the future, where an artist show her and Jimbo passionately kissing, and the couple, now elderly, kiss again.
I like that they all did this with $5,000. Teen logic.
We both want $5,000. So fans, go ahead and Venmo us $5,000 each.
Exactly. And, in case you're worried about other people doing it, just do it. If we get more than $5,000, we'll send it back. We promise. Wink.
Right.
Yeah.
Steve promises to kiss you.
Mm-hmm. For $5,000? I'll do more than that. I'll kiss you twice. Back in the night of the party, Jimbo and Shauna embrace until Shauna declares that Marge Simpson will rue the day that she ever messed with Shauna Chalmers. And outside of the church, Marge declares that Shauna Chalmers will rue the day that she ever messed with Marge Simpson.
While driving away from the church, Homer plays the message from the letter napper again. As the high-pitched voice mentions torment and woe, Marge explains that Shauna used the very same wording the night of the party. Homer assumes this means that Shauna and the raccoon are working together. He thinks the raccoon is people. So he also figures that they are in cahoots for stealing his garbage.
That's funny. So after Homer asks about a plan, Marge states that Shauna volunteers at the senior home on Sundays to steal the medication of old folks. That means it's a perfect time to break into Chalmers' household and steal the letters Back. Homer's unsure, though, wondering what Marge would say about all of this, until he realizes that he is in fact talking to Marge. But before the plan can begin, Marge needs to think fast.
Damn it! Superintendent Chalmers is home. We're gonna have to improvise.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Simpson. To what do I owe the unannounced weekend visit?
I'm writing an article for the PTA newsletter about you.
Me?
Yes, an interview, really. Long form. Gary Chalmers, a profile in competence. Not incompetence, in competence. 'Cause you're great.
I wasn't aware that the PTA's biannual, one-page, single-sided newsletter even did long-form interviews. But how nice. Come on in. Don't you need a pen or a recording device?
No, I have a photographic memory.
For auditory speech?
Yes, I think he's buying it.
All right, I do like the beginning of like incompetence. I mean, not incompetence, but incompetence. It's
Yeah.
very funny. I remember we talked about before the season started that there was supposed to be some sort of spiritual sequel to the Steamed Hams. Is this it?
I kind of feel like it might be, because it is very much like Chalmers playing that character of being like, you're saying this in this fashion at this time in this world. The Aurora Borealis. Yeah.
But he doesn't really go further like he did with that one.
Right.
I think this could be like a setup for a funny bits for people always having to go to Chalmers' house for some reason and trying to get something else, but they have to talk to him. It feels like it is akin to that scene, but not blatantly enough to be using it too much. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It's light parody.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like an homage to it without actually being like so on the nose. I think you're totally right. And this probably isn't the sequel that they were talking about. I'm guessing, because I'd imagine they do something a bit bolder, but I do like this, whatever it is.
Well done, kids.
Indeed.
While Homer looks through the house for letters, Marge keeps Gary occupied. Chalmers thinks to himself, wondering why Marge would make up such absurd story. Then he thinks he figures it out. Marge is coming on to him. So Marge continues to fake her interview, and Gary admits to himself that he thought about hooking up with Marge before, but he stops himself. It seems that he had prior experience hooking up with the child's parent, resulting in Luann Van Houten continuing to blow up his phone.
So Gary thinks that he needs to nip this in the bud. He speaks up, apologizing, saying that he has to ask Marge if she'd like some plum wine. Meanwhile, Homer is rummaging like the wind through Shauna's room. He holds up a Nirvana shirt and then comments that it's another stupid kid wearing an old t-shirt of a band that they know nothing about. He then holds up another shirt, betting that Shauna couldn't name one song from Planned Parenthood. Do you think this was an opportunity for them to make a sadgasm joke?
No, I think they needed to have it this way.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this on the podcast about young kids, Gen Zers wearing Nirvana shirts or like AC/DC shirts. And like they don't listen to that, do they?
Probably not. That's true.
And I like the bit of the Planned Parenthood, though. Like the one shirt she has that's like, you know, she probably got it from volunteering, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, can you name a Planned Parenthood song?
Women's health is important.
All right. Good job, Steve.
Thank you.
I see what you're saying about the sadgasm. Like if he had the Nirvana, made the comment, picked up another sadgasm, like a sadgasm shirt, then the Planned Parenthood shirt, maybe.
Maybe, but I think you're right. It is more efficient just to have the Nirvana into Planned Parenthood. I think it's a tighter writing.
Or if you wanted to be more Simpsons-esque, like does the Nirvana thing, puts that down, then has a B-sharp shirt, then a sadgasm shirt.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Is there other Simpsons-esque bands? The Simpsons Sings the Blues album cover.
Do the Bartman.
Yeah. So just as Homer finds the box of letters, Gary sips his wine, telling Marge about his love of samba and asking if she's ever been to Brazil.
She has.
But we haven't yet, Steve.
That's right.
He's adds that it's very liberated. Just then, a ruckus is heard upstairs. It's clearly Homer, but Marge says it's the house settling, and Gary has his doubts due to the framing. But he has to go check it out anyways. Again, very steamed hammy.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever drink plum wine?
I think that I have tried plum wine back in my old job where we'd have like a lot of wines of different varieties. I remember it being very sweet. And like the first sip, you're just like, oh, this is fun. And then like after the third sip, you're just like, I can't drink any more of this.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I have never had it. I like a plum, but do I need it to be wine? No.
And I can't remember. It's either really high in alcohol or kind of low in alcohol. It's either like 18% or like 9%. Yeah.
But what do you know, Steve? You're a sober son of a bitch.
Yep, I'm plumb out of ideas when it comes to plum wine. Homer jumps out of the window and Marge makes a hasty exit, saying that she has all she needs for the interview. Left alone, Gary figures that it's most likely for the best that he and Marge didn't hook up. He then grabs his phone, which has several messages from Luann Van Houten's, like, hello? You mad at me? You suck, and I miss you. And so Gary texts, you up, even though it seems to be in the afternoon. And Miss Van Houten quickly replies with an enthusiastic yes. So I like this new canon that we've seen mostly this season, that Chalmers is a freak who likes to get it on, be it with Miss Hoover, Miss Houghton, or whomever.
And we know that Luann and Kirk are back together, so essentially Luann is just cheating on Kirk all the time.
Yeah, although I could see maybe Kirk likes to sit in the corner and watch.
We've had this discussion,
yeah,
yes.
Cuck Van Houten.
Cuck Van Houten. All right. Homer and Marge drive away, feeling triumphant. Homer smugly tells Shauna, let her luck next time, but when he opens the box, he's surprised to find more goth erotica, such as the synth and the yearning, black t-shirt, and corpse painting Casanova. Shauna swapped the letters. Marge is feeling hopeless, worried that Shauna is sending the letters throughout the town, revealing what a horrible bitch Marge is on the inside.
Marge, the bitch, glance up to see Jimbo and Shauna on a motorbike with a box full of stolen medication and a backpack full of Marge's hate letters. The teens speed off and Homer and Marge follow behind, driving into oncoming traffic. The chase continues until they're both detoured by a city budget surplus parade, further proving that the police have not been defunded.
Marge traps Shauna and Jimbo in an alleyway, but Shauna climbs up a fire escape, just as Homer pins down Jimbo. Homer assumes that he has the punk under control until Jimbo begins punching him repeatedly. So Shauna climbs up to the roof of the building, Marge following closely behind, with the two women finally face to face. Shauna hangs the letters from the edge, threatening to do the unthinkable.
Stop right there! Come any closer and I'll like drop him or whatever!
Why'd you do it, Shauna? Was all this over a stupid crayon puff?
No! When I found those letters, I thought they were awesome. You totally nailed all the cringos in this cringe town. And then I read the letter you wrote to me.
Oh, Shauna, I never meant for you.
You called me a hormonal little snot with more piercings than brains. And you're supposed to be the nicest lady in town?
I am nice. I just write these letters when I'm filled with anger. And then afterwards, I'm over it. I swear.
There's like 30-year-old letters in here. If you're so over it, why'd you save them?
Because it brings me peace. Give me my letters. Shauna!
Don't let me die. I want to live to be old and fat like you.
I think Marge is going to let Shauna go, right? This is going to be the death of Shauna.
It's a very special episode. I think so, yeah. She'll finally get even more closure. So Marge hangs off the roof, holding Shauna in one hand and the backpack full of letters in the other. She thinks that she can save them both, but as her fingers begin to slip, she realizes that she has to make a choice. So Marge lets go of Shauna, and she dies horribly.
Yay! Oh.
No, Marge lets go of the backpack and pulls Shauna to safety.
The only safety I believe in is Earl Grey, Steve. That's a safety.
That is a safety. Oy.
I have to get some sort of a dad joke in this episode, Steve, and we're almost done. So,
all right.
Shauna apologizes, and she and Marge hug. Marge then sees that her angry thoughts are all out in the open for the world to see. Conveniently, each letter falls into the hands of those who it is addressed to.
Hey, look, a letter from Marge Simpson addressed directly to me. Dear Chief, you give fat, do-nothing, donut-eating cops a bad name soulless, dead-eyed creepazoid, a greasy-fingered know-it-all.
An amoral homewrecker and a never-was singer.
A deviant lech who can't keep his busy hands to himself.
A smoking hot comedic linchpin who should have never left Studio 8H. There's the hateful epistolist who called me an operatic blowhard.
We talked about it last week, that we would get Loreen Lumpkin and Artie Ziffin, and there they are.
Yeah, it's a fun little cameo there.
And of course, the great hung man himself, Tim Meadows. I'm assuming he's hung.
Yeah, I would imagine, yeah. That's why he's such a ladies' man. I also really like Mel's reading of being an operatic blowhard, which he said as, an operatic blowhard.
I keep thinking that every time I hear Mel, all I can hear is Clayface from the Harley Quinn cartoon.
That's true. Yeah.
Sideshow Mel was before Clayface, so there's a lot of inspiration.
Yeah, I feel like might be some subconscious inspiration there.
I do like the bit that they all fall down into the right person's hands. It's great.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny too because the way Shauna pointed out, she kind of agreed with Marge about everybody except for what Marge wrote about Shauna, and I feel like everybody else who would read the letter would agree that Marge's thoughts are reasonable except for when it comes to them. And I think that's kind of a profound thing. We all think that everyone's an asshole except for us. And then when somebody else calls someone else an asshole, they're like, yeah, unless they're talking about yourselves. We all have horrible thoughts about other people. That's all.
Yeah, I know this guy. Let's call him Teve. And he's a real asshole.
Much like that other asshole, Reg.
That's true. He is a real see you next Tuesday.
Yes. Speaking of see you next Tuesdays, Marge. No, why don't... I know we did the thing where we're calling Marge a bitch, but it just feels wrong, so I'm going to stop. Marge walks through the stunt crowd. She then says that she's sorry, not for being angry, but for keeping her thoughts to herself for so long. She was being emotionally dishonest, and it wasn't fair to her friends or to herself. So Wiggum cheerfully asks Marge if she still hates everyone, and Marge says that she loves everyone, even when they butt heads. Homer and Jimbo, after, beating each other up, they sure laugh at the thought of butt heads, and Marge begs to be seen not just as nice, but as a complex person with real emotions.
Maya Quimby wants the people of Springfield to celebrate Marge, the most three-dimensional person in town. The crowd cheers, and all is well. Later, at the store, Marge makes her peace with Helen Lovejoy, and Tim Meadows makes peace with the world. Now, we're going to do something here in this clip, Steve. We're actually playing the last bit of The Simpsons, and then we're going to play the credits. And we're going to hear a voice that we've never heard on this podcast, I believe.
Whoa.
As someone so well off and closer to God, it's easy for me to look down my naturally perfect nose at you. But that ends now.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it.
I envy this new you, Marge. Honest and boorishly uncouth.
Right.
Anyway, I'm off to the good hairdresser. Oh, not the one you're thinking of. This one's better. Toodles.
Oh, wait, one more thing, Helen.
Yes?
Kiss my ass!
Dear Marge, where the hell do you get off? My career choices are nobody's business but mine and maybe my manager's. The next time you want to tell me what other boneheaded mistakes I've made, I hope you'll do me a favor and go jump in a wood chipper. Sincerely yours, Tim Meadows. Wow, that does feel good. Dear Lauren Michaels, where the hell do you get off? Dear TGI Fridays, where the hell do you get off? Dear Sunglass Hut, where the hell do you get off? Dear Quiznos, where the hell do you get off? Shh, where the hell do you get off?
That's right, Steve. I don't think we've ever used Shushy before in this podcast.
Oh, wow. It's the debut of Shushy on the 138 Simpsons podcast. That's great. And Tim Meadows is showing her who's the boss.
Wait, is Shushy Tony Danza?
No, it's Judith Light. It's always been Judith Light.
I mean, yeah, because that was her house, right? So
yeah.
It's not a very complicated question, TV show.
Yeah.
What a fun way to end the episode. And how great was the animation of Marge telling Helen to kiss her ass. I love how she covers Maggie's ears and then says it to her. Was there a round of applause at the theater when you watched this?
There was, yeah. Everybody stood up and cheered.
This is the equivalent of Captain America picking up Thor's hammer. Meow meow.
Exactly. Or Gremlins 2 with Gremlins.
Or when Jack Black says, "I'm Steve" in the Minecraft movie.
Ah, yes, that was great.
Yes, we're 12-year-old boys who go to the theater for Minecraft.
Of course, we know what Minecraft is, and we know what The Simpsons is, because we just watched it. And speaking of, let's think about what we just saw, take a break, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, we are back. Let's finish up our talk of P.S. I Hate You. We'll talk about our most valuable jokester, what made us laugh in this episode, what we liked, maybe what we didn't like, and our general thoughts of the episode and what we're watching next week. But before we do all of that, we like to exchange other gifts, something from the episode that we think that the co-host might enjoy. And Craig, I've got a couple things for you. I got you to entertain your child, a Funzo and Sir Loves a Lot, so you can have some of that. And yes, I did get it from the Dollar Troll, but still, they're still valuable. And to keep yourself entertained, I got you a bottle of plum wine. While you're drinking, you need something to listen to. So I got you a vinyl compilation of the best of Planned Parenthood. I think you'll enjoy it.
I have enjoyed it.
Good.
I've enjoyed all of your gifts right now, Steve, because you just gave them to me.
Yes.
I only got you a couple things. Is that all right?
That's fine, I guess.
All right, I got you a sex box.
Awesome.
And 2 tickets for a Josh Groban Canadian Canal cruise.
Ooh, take out that C and I'm happy. Not in Canadian. Not in cruise.
Okay, that's it.
Cool, that's all I need.
All right.
Craig, what made you laugh in this episode?
The thought bubble bit when Bart was thinking of what Mom was doing and Lisa was thinking what Mom was doing, and then Homer thinking what Marge was doing, but he can't think because he's already used his limit for subscription bubbles, which is very funny.
Mm-hmm.
Marge's birthday, of course, fun. Seeing the town of Springfield people, that's great. Going to the police department was also good, and Patty and Selma letting their girls hang out. But I think hands down, I think we got to go with the Chalmers and Marge scene. I think that was probably my favorite scene from this episode. How about you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed, like you mentioned, the defunding the police stuff. I thought the Dollar Troll stuff was a lot of fun. Homer talking about the raccoon and Shauna working in cahoots with one another. Homer not realizing that Marge was, in fact, Marge. But yeah, I think that Chalmers is also my MVP. I think the scene of him and Marge just playing off each other really well. His line about Marge having a photographic memory for auditory things is really funny. And then just also just Chalmers being like a horny pervert who wants to hook up with everybody. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun like little fold for him, especially him being like the voice of reason oftentimes. And so it's a nice little twist. Yeah, I think that is my scene as well. But all in all, I had a lot of fun with it. What are your general thoughts?
Yeah, I also forgot to mention my MVJ. Homer is probably up there, but I think Tim Meadows did a great job, especially at the end with the P.S. Sunglass, all of his letters to these corporations. Really fun. But you're asking me if I like this episode, Steve?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is no, I didn't like this episode.
No.
I loved it?
Oh.
Or is love maybe too strong? What's in between like and love?
Affectionately consider. I don't know.
Horny? Is horny between like and love?
In my life, it mostly has been, yeah.
All right, I'm horny about this episode.
Okay.
It was very fast-paced. And I feel like it also kind of went by pretty quick because I think it was kind of like nonstop action in a way. Because the way they had like the drum beats and even the flashback, like you mentioned before, like the cool title sequence they did was exciting. It was kind of an exciting episode. The whole time I'm thinking like, who was it? It's a very fun, like, try to figure it out. Because we found out it was Shauna like right away.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the middle of the episode. And it would have been nice if it was a twist, like she was the red herring and it was really someone like Milhouse who was like framing Shauna because of something she did at the party. But, we're getting some Shauna time on this show, which kind of a newer character in our eyes, but she's probably been around for 20 years now.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, of course, Mo Collins coming in, voicing Jimbo, I think was well done. And I'm wondering, is she also going to be the voice of the other Pamela's characters, like Millhouse? Only time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
But, I just thought this was a lot of fun. And if I had to give this a ranking, there was 53 children at the Simpsons house, stuck with Shauna. So if I gave this a ranking out of 53, I'm going to give it a extra corn on your corn dogs and more weenies in your pigs.
I like it.
How about you?
I completely agree with what you're saying. I do like how we just jumped right into it. I do like the mystery of it. I feel like they could have developed that more, but I like the fact that, in a weird way, Helen Lovejoy is kind of like a villain of the episode and almost like the red herring. And then it when she blamed Agnes, it kind of turned things around. But I just like the way that the episode kept on moving. Also, I kind of feel like even though Shauna was ultimately in the wrong, you can kind of see her perspective, looking up to Marge as being somebody who's talks shit to all the people of Springfield until she gets to her letter. And then also Marge, just trying her best to be a nice person and keep her feelings bottled up until it gets out. And then, she looks like a jerk. But yeah, I think that the way that the whole episode was structured was a lot of fun. I think the visuals were really nice. And yeah, this is just a great episode. It feels like it could be a season 6 classic episode, but also feels modern, especially with the pacing and the profanity. And yeah, I think this is just an all around a great episode. I think it just goes to show how talented Cesar Mazariegos is. He hasn't had a bad episode yet, and I think this is just another sign. And so I was looking online, I couldn't find a really good recipe for crab puffs, but I did find a recipe on allrecipes.com from Chef John, who, if you haven't checked out, he's a great guy on YouTube and whatnot, but he has a recipe for Chef John's crab rangoon, and it has a 4.4 out of 5 stars, but I'm going to give this one a 4.7 out of 5 stars, so extra crab rangoon for everybody.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, we talked about it live on the podcast, but the swearing was a lot of fun, and that scene, of course, at the end with Marge and Helen was so well done. And there's one joke that I forgot to mention that I loved was when Marge says at the end of the episode, yeah, we all might butt heads, and then Jimbo and Homer do the butt heads and hug. And
it's also sweet because, they were adversaries minutes ago, and even them can find peace with one another, so it's a nice message.
Well done. Love the episode. I mean, horny for the episode. Horny.
We all are horny for the episode. But how will we feel about next week? Will we also be horny?
Well, Steve, I'm excited to find out what we are watching next week. I love doing these silly bits with you.
Indeed, and it will be a lot of fun because next week is Earth Day on April 22nd, which is when the next episode premieres. And it is entitled Yellow Planet, and it is a fun documentary style in the likes of Blue Planet or National Geographic. However, due to our schedules being what they are, I don't think we'll be able to release it in time. So we're going to put that one in the bank, and when we have an opening, we will air that one, and we'll keep on going with new episodes. But until then, we wanted to do a special episode, a fun episode that we've been talking about. No, we couldn't get Lady Gaga on the line just yet, so we're going to do a different episode. That's right, we're going to do Season 12, Episode 9, entitled Homer.
That's H-O-M-R.
That's right. So in this episode, Homer invests all the family's money in a company that makes Animotion machines, and after the company declares bankruptcy, Homer becomes a human guinea pig to raise some cash. And the scientists find a crayon lodged in his brain, and when it's removed, Homer becomes a genius. This is one that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. I haven't seen it in a minute, but I look forward to talking about it with you, Craig, and I look forward to y'all hearing it. So check it out next week.
I think I will, Steve. I think I will.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And hey, we want to hear from y'all. I'm going to stop saying y'all. We can't wait to hear from you folks. You can always email us at 13simpsons@gmail.com or reach us on the socials like your Instagram, your Threads, or your YouTube at 138simpsons.
You can also just call them bitches. It's fine.
All right, bitches.
All right. Listen up, bitches. Leave us a review. 5 stars or the equivalent on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to this podcast. But you don't have to leave us a real review. No. Just write us a letter about why you hate us. Wait a minute. No, that is our reviews. Something else from this episode. Talk about Shauna. All right.
All right, and hey, if you want to be cool, we don't have Planned Parenthood shirts, we don't have Nirvana shirts, but we do have Annoyed Grunt Boy shirts, and they're arguably better. So go to tpublic.com/user/AnnoyedGruntBoy and get yourself some cool 138 Simpsons swag. Thank you so much for listening. For this week, I've been Annoyed Grunt Boy Steve.
And I've been Annoyed Grunt Boy Craig.
And remember, aloha means hello, and you're dead.
I woke up in the bathtub with no kidneys.
I've enjoyed my share of balls before,